All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Monday the 10th. Going to take you through some JP ROKU, Tesla, and maybe a few more. First up here is Tesla, and looking back in September, the move really got going off that two-day squeeze. And you had the structure for a breakout. You had the big three buy signal, the green arrow. We bought that. We caught the 340-ish into 450-ish push. And then really the entire month of October, it's more of your choppy back and forth range-bound action. Frankly, pretty typical. Big time compression back here. That leads to the expansion. Squeeze fires, big push, and now you're chopping. That gives you another squeeze. Till things change, the indicator would like it for another push back towards the upside. Good structure, good trend. We have the perfect 15. A+ set up at the buy zone. I like that, and I think for what could really give that two-day squeeze a little kick in the rear would be a buy trigger here off that daily squeeze. And that one has the structure for a breakout, the trend for a breakout. The thing we haven't had since the beginning of October, momentum for a breakout. Until they can finally get that daily MACD back above zero, it'll likely be a lot more of the same here. They'll flush it, they'll pop it, all the back and forth noise. Then they'll figure out if they either want to break it short or get the MACD shift, get the green arrow, break it out, and then along with your two-day squeeze, I think a path on the 500. So that one we are hanging on tight to, and then JP we picked up last week. I think a few of these banks are pretty sharp here in the short term. I can look at JP BAC, Goldman. For JP, you have your weekly 3-day, 2-day, and the 4-hour squeeze. We're looking for a path into 322, 325-ish, and we are wrong on the idea under 305-ish. Classic daily squeeze trade. Then we picked up some ROKU today. And the rowdy ROKU has a squeeze setting up on your 4-hour, daily, 2-day, 3-day, and the weekly time frame. Off that daily squeeze, you've got the green arrow, great entry, 15 points. A+ setup on the daily. Also an A+ setup here on the, drum roll please, over here on your 3-day time frame. The more the merrier. For ROKU, we are wrong going to move under, call it 98 and change, looking for a path into 115, 120-ish. Got some ROKU, got some JP got some of that Tesla, and then for April of next year, all right, much bigger picture idea, Qualcomm has a quarterly, a weekly, and a monthly squeeze. We call that big boy compression. And the idea here is give the monthly squeeze plenty of time. We have the 250 call for April. If they can even get a path back into 230, 240, we shall get a great bang for our buck. Better yet, they break it out, squeeze fires into a brand new all-time high. Even juicier. So the key with that is just it's not, it doesn't have the immediate nature of a 30-minute squeeze, a 5-minute, a 15-minute, and then maybe even a daily squeeze. Where, for example, we took a little crowd from last week, and yeah, off a time frame like a 4-hour, a 1-hour, or a daily, you can jump in on the green arrow, buy it on a Monday, and cash out on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Thursday. And I do love those kinds of trades. Bigger picture, what can take a name like a Google and give you a relatively quicker 30, 40, 50% push? It ain't going to be your 15-minute, 30-minute squeeze. That'll be something bigger like a quarterly or a monthly. But that big push for Google, that takes place over the course of 4, 8, 12, 16, 20-plus weeks. Give them time, and they can reward you nicely. Qualcomm, we're rocking with that one for April. And then aside from that, guys, quick look here at the rankings on the dashboard. In pretty much the entire month of October, we had market equals bullish. Better alignment, better scores. S&P's had a daily squeeze. QQQ had a daily squeeze. It generally makes for an easier market. And then last week we had market equals neutral, and that just makes things a lot harder. We're not overly bullish. We're not overly bearish. Things are a bit more choppy. Your bigger time frames are in good shape. Your lower time frames are a bit messy. And now we got a little progress going from neutral back to neutral bullish. Bulls got the edge. Dow Jones at 77% of its best score. S&P's at 64. QQQ at 59. And then breaking down the sector leadership, it goes biotech, silver, gold, healthcare. And then a little bit more up my alley would be the SMH at 63 and the XLK at 48. And then from there, we can break down the Big Ten names. First place here is Amazon, followed by Google, Nvidia, Broadcom, Apple, Tesla, TSM. And then Microsoft's pretty neutral, Netflix and Meta pretty neutral. Looking at the Amazon here, I really, really like it on your monthly and your weekly squeeze. Now, it looks like as of today, the monthly squeeze might have actually fired. But then jumping over here to the weekly, she is quite the looker. The only issue is all the things I like about it up here around 250. And that'd be what? Momentum, the squeeze, the structure, the full 15 points. The things I like about it up here at 250-ish, they could gap it down a good 8 or 9% tomorrow back to a buy zone. And it'll be a pretty weekly squeeze, same structure, all the above. Preference is buying it a little closer to the 21 EMA. But all right, y'all, short and sweet. One more thing here. Good rule of thumb. You had the flush. Feels a little bear trappy. Key thing this week, any little gap down, then you flush and you pull back to a 15-minute 21, 30-minute 21. Key here for the bulls, they at least have to keep price above the daily 21 EMA. Right, the gap down, the S&Ps are back under 67.50. We maybe don't go and fall apart from there, but if you're trying to call for a quick path back towards 69 strike, keep it above that 21, keep on working on the lower time frame alignment, and bulls should be in good shape here. But all right, y'all, thank you for watching. Keep an eye on the Qualcomm, JPM, Roku, and the Tesla ideas. And I'll talk to you probably tomorrow night or Wednesday. Adios.